Coach, first game back after a road trip, what are you looking for early?
Well, I think the same thing. So we could be playing on the road again tonight at home. For us, it really shouldn't matter at all. We've had some pretty good results lately, but we're still trying to get back, to where we're at. I don't think we're there yet, and so tonight's just another step along that process.
You had a stretch in January, you lost, I think, 6 of 10 games by 1 goal. These 3 wins, all 1 goal. Is your approach different? It's just about execution? What do you think down the stretch of the last 10 minutes of a game?
No, I think it's the same. It's a tough league. It's a 1-goal league oftentimes. We got on the right side of it, but I did think we had chances earlier to not be trailing. I thought we played well enough, but I don't think there's anything specific we're doing in the third period to try to come back. We'd like to be leading. We wouldn't want to be coming back. So it's just nice to see guys are scoring big goals at big moments. And that's what you need, and getting saves at the other end during that same stretch.
Talk to some of the players about whether or not it might be a benefit to have gone out on a long road trip after a coaching change to get the team isolated by themselves. But the thing that came up was lack of practice time. They said with a coaching change, you want as much practice as you can get. Have you found ways to compensate for that lack of practice time over that road trip?
We're probably spending a little bit more time on video during that time because we can't practice. And we're at a catch-22. We're at the time of the season, too, where you want to maximize practice time, but you also want to maximize rest. We went 3 and 4, and then basically you can flip it on here, and we're 3 and 4 on the backside. So as much as you want to practice and work on things, you want to rest so when the game starts that you've got the energy to do what you do well. So we've had to spend some time in with meetings and video trying to explain some of the things that we want to do better.
Talking about that lack of rest, then the players also mentioned that coming back after 1 day off, play a game on Sunday, travel day off, then game on Tuesday, is a bit of a challenge. Physically, how about mentally and from a coaching perspective?
Well, it's easier for us. We're not the guys that have to get out there and do the job, but they have to do the job. They played well 3 and 4 there. There's no reason for them not to come out and play the exact same way with the same effort as they have over the last 3 or 4 games. Everybody has to go through it at different times. We're no different. We just have to make sure the mentality's right.
29 games left. You have a shot at the second seed still, like with all you've gone through. Is the mentality just get in top 8, or do you want to push to try to get within striking distance of Vegas for second place?
No, that's a good question. We haven't really looked and certainly not talked about that at all. I still think we're in the, what was it, 10 days ago we first met here. We're still in the phase of regaining our identity. I think you can look at some games and say, oh, that looks more like it. And then having that identity be every night. And so once we get that, we can look, further down the road and say, hey, what does this all look like? But that's been our primary focus. We're not going to shift from that for some time.
Sounds like was out there with the group this morning. I know it's still a red jersey, but exciting to see him back out with the group. Any maybe update on his status?
He's getting closer. Obviously, we were gone, so we didn't see him. We get the reports. He's been skating on his own, skating hard, getting a lot of good work in. So he's getting there. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be. If it's not going to be until we head out up to Canada or not. He's got to get out with the guys and get banged around a little bit. This morning was pretty easy as far as that goes. He's going to take some contact and see where he's at.
Before the Edmonton game, we talked briefly about the importance of focusing on your team more than what the other team does. You played Columbus once already this year. They got out to a big lead early and had to come back. Is that so long ago, and are you still in a position where you're more concerned with what your team is doing, that previous result doesn't really factor into pre-scout?
Well, yes and no, because we know what they did well in the first 2 periods, what we didn't do well, and then in the third period when it flipped a little bit, we knew what we did well. So it's actually a pretty easy pre-scout for us because it was a tale of 2 games really right there within that. So we're certainly focused more on what we did in the third period. That'll be the primary focus. But it's a team that's playing pretty well. They've got young speed up front. They're one of the top teams in the league off the rush and off the forecheck creating chances. So every team is a good team. Every team is hard. So the focus is us for sure, but we can see what we have to do to be successful against them. There's a blueprint there.
My memory of that third period, sorry Dennis, was that the goals came from going straight to the front of the net to now I think right off the hop. You've had a lot of success on this road road trip going to the net, is that a particular focus since you've been there?
Yeah, it is for sure. It's just how you score goals, how you score goals. You can score nice goals, and everybody loves the ones from the outside and the 2-on-1s and the one-timers, but ultimately you have to get to the net front, and you have to get there with a purpose. It's difficult to do. We're trying to box people out. They're trying to get to our net. And then as you move along, those are the types of goals that are playoff type goals. We all know it. It gets tighter. And so we are definitely focusing on trying to get the other team's net more often and arriving there with a purpose. And conversely, doing a better job in front of our net by boxing out and letting our goalies see it or not get a second chance opportunity.
Cam was really solid. Looks like he's going again tonight. Do you want somebody to emerge, or with 29 games left, play one guy 15, one guy 14?
No, I don't think that. I think David's had a really good stretch where he's played quite a bit and played very well. It was great to see Cam get in there. He had waited his turn a little bit. Great to see him get in there and play so well. So we feel like let's get him back in there. He hasn't played a lot lately. Let's try to see if we can, give him a chance and give him the support that he needs to get going and get in the net a little bit more often. So there's not necessarily one guy we're trying to pull or push, trying to get them both going just like the team.
In your mind, have you mapped out the next 2 weeks?
Oh, no, not at all. Haven't mapped out the next game. Yeah.
Spoke with RB this morning. He said after the back-to-back, body maybe a little bit sore, not having done that in a while. How did you feel like he kind of held up throughout the course of the 3 and 4? Looked to be pretty impactful.
Yeah, his first game he was the most dangerous. We probably all felt that. The adrenaline's going to be going. Boston, I probably played him a little bit too much. He played over 19 in Boston, slowed down a little, and then we pulled him back in Pittsburgh. But I didn't think he was as dangerous, but he still gives us something. Even the third game in 4 nights, coming off the injury, he still gave us something. And so I was really happy with the way it went for him. Good day rest for him. Over all that excitement, he'll settle in here going forward. But he's the player that he always has been, and he's really a threat when he's on the ice.
You haven't been shy to change lines or T-pairs in the midst of the game. Have you seen anything from any of the changes that you maybe weren't expecting?
No, I don't think so. It's a bit of a work in progress. We have a number of really solid players. That's the way I see it. So, trying to find some chemistry, see who can complement who. They've all kind of played with each other at different points. You see pairs of players kind of staying together a little bit. So we're just working through that. We're just trying to find what we think is the best balance offensively and defensively on the lines.